Namaste and welcome to Soul Fusion Cafe. I am Jess Juntunen, your grateful host for this hour of radiant wellness and soul forward living. And it is such an honor to be with you again here at onenesstalkradio.com, or perhaps you are watching or listening over at Oneness Talk Radio on YouTube, or Oneness Talk Radio on Facebook. Those are all ways that you can tune in, or if you're catching this on the recording or replay, welcome. It's an amazing time to be together here in this conclusion of November. Wow. I'm looking at next week going, it's December next week, guys. Time, really is an illusion. And yet, we try to measure our time here while we're in bodies and mark, events and times of the day and things we need to do. And it feels so crazy, doesn't it? Because it truly, our concept of time and time as we have known it has been shifting for a long time now. I mean, really 2000 we saw a huge acceleration. 2021 is going to be very cyclical. I mean, we are time surfing. We are doing so many things beyond the three-dimensional concepts of timelines, right? So it's pretty remarkable to notice what is happening out there. And how's that been for you? What are you noticing as you tune into the concept of time, and as you surf these energies? How are things for you? uh, I would love to hear how you are doing. I would love to be able to, maybe have a chat. I believe this week my call lines are working, so if anybody is thinking they would enjoy calling in for, a sharing, like what, let's share. It's Thanksgiving week here in America. Let's share. What are we grateful for? What are you grateful for in this moment, at this time? What have you learned? What is coming forward for you? What in your life are you really grateful for? So let's call in with some of those sharings if you have that. Or if you would like a intuitive mini reading, I can offer my assistance with that as well. Or if you have a question or a comment or just want to share, the number is 517 208 1500. That is 517 208 1500. I'm going to try to go ahead and throw that into the chat over at YouTube, so you can check out the number there. Oneness Talk Radio on YouTube uh, is uh, is where we're streaming live. So the number again, 517 208 1500. And yeah, I would love to just hear from you. And yeah, last week it was like, yes, we have the call board. It's going. We're going. And then technology had other plans. I don't know what you guys are noticing, but it's kind of hilarious lately. It doesn't matter if it's a Mercury retrograde or not. The technology is definitely wonky with all of these energetic blasts that we're getting. So we have to just roll with it, right? We really just have to learn to roll with it. So, funny, last week we had several callers trying to call in and being really patient. We'll see this week if anybody wants to pop in or not. So, we're on live every Tuesday at noon. It's lunchtime on the East Coast, Eastern Time. So, if it's your lunchtime or whatever time of day, if this is a good time for you, join us live, because I'm going to be bringing in these live calls and bringing in the call board and things, and it's great to have community and be here together. Or if not, and you have to catch the recording later, that's fantastic, but I would still love to serve you. So you can always email with a request. If you have a question for me to answer on air, if you have a miracle sharing, a Thanksgiving to share, or if you would like to request a mini intuitive reading or guidance, you can email Jess, Jess, at selfascensionstudios.com. And also, if you go to selfascensionstudios.com, you will see that there is a contact form you can fill out as well. And my email address and everything is there, or you can find me on social. Either look at Self Ascension Studios on Facebook, or find me at Joy Love Jess over at Instagram and TikTok now. For those of you that enjoy TikTok, we're having fun over there. So at Joy Love Jess at Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. So yeah, lots of different ways to connect and be together. I'd love to hear from you. So, every week we talk about different aspects of what it really means to have radiant wellness in our life and soul forward living. And we've been diving into this multi-dimensional series because I love exploring and living a multi-dimensional life that is, igniting and connecting with the wisdom that is beyond the mind, the body, the emotions, that wisdom that exists, whether you call it divine love, universal love, God is, the energy that underpins all of our existence and is the reality of who we really are. This body and form and lifetime is very transient. It is but a part of the whole one that we are. But the funny thing about living here is that we all forgot that when we took birth, most of us, right? And so we've been in the process of remembering that. And it's so helpful to have community and other guides and people that help us remember that, we are more than this body, because it's very magnetic. The experience of having a form is is a reality for us that can be hard to lift through and out of, and that's the thing, we have to lift above to really get that perspective. So it's a practice, multidimensional living in our ascended truth and presence, self ascension, all that. It's a practice, it's a yoga, it's an alchemy. You have to work with and play with it because we're very practiced and masterful. We're all masters. We are all masters, but we have become very masterful of this experience of this lifetime and our patterns and our habits and the belief systems we've taken on. They're strong, they're strong. So it's like, yeah, we can have huge breakthroughs, but we have to continually condition our consciousness to lift and move through the ego and move through the illusion. It's like reminding ourselves always, and that's why it's so great to have a program like this and, the internet and technology where we can connect. Oneness Talk Radio is fantastic. If you haven't stopped over there and listened to other shows, you can just put Oneness Talk Radio playing in the background from the website, onenesstalkradio.com. Just click listen now. There's always music and shows and programs. Why not have spaces that are providing uplifting, nourishing support for us? It's very important to stay connected because, again, like saying, it's like a lullaby. Density's like this lullaby that's always rocking us to sleep, so to speak, because it's a very sleepy being in density. Yeah, it's wild. It's a moment where we're all having to walk through some serious ego shenanigans. And what better time to do that, than Thanksgiving week in, the United States and whatever, if there's other holidays that are being celebrated this time of year, right? As we move through this season, the holiday season, many traditions and places around the world are celebrating, and it brings us right into density experience usually very well, because that's when our family of origin, will get together and people come together, and it can be very interesting if you are on a path of shifting your life in dramatic ways, but others in your circle maybe are not. It can be very tricky. It's a very fun time of year. So I'm also hoping that this episode offers support, especially for those of you that might have to feel like you're going into the trenches a little bit. I always advocate for, like, hey, do what you need to do. And with COVID, honestly, it's a great time to say, Yeah, we're doing our thing at home, right? We're not going to other people's houses and stuff, so you can make your own space and traditions. But it's an interesting time. People really will act up and out around this time. If you've had toxic people in your life or abusive people or things like that, it stimulates everybody. Or if people are really in their victim consciousness, it stimulates people because the holidays are so charged. They're so charged. Most of us can think back, and to our holidays. And I mean, it was literally traumatic for me to heal through a lot of things that happen during holidays. So they could be very triggering times of year, and there can be a lot of grief around holidays and sadness too. And it's fascinating, and then as we really reclaim ourselves and heal ourselves, we start to look at all of this, in a whole new light and lift above it. It's sort of like, okay, that's all linear time. Yeah, it's fun to embrace these markers and seasons, and if you enjoy it, do it, but do it your way, right? Do it the way that feels right and good for you. um that's absolutely something that uh, we have to remember what works for me, what supports me as I move through this time. What do I really need to nourish myself, And that goes beyond the food. Food matters, right? But how do we really nourish and support our very being? What does that inner child need that's inside that might be saying, I'm scared, or I need some love, or I need some support. What might that inner child be needing from you right now? We all have basically a school bus of inner children within us. And one may be particularly needing our attention more than others at a given time. It's so connected to the aspect of our ego and past hurts and our past joys, right? Maybe that inner child saying, I want to dance, I want to play, I want to paint, I want some unstructured time to just exist. Maybe I need a hug, maybe I need to feel safe. It is a really um important way to our healing, to lifting our consciousness, to really develop a stronger relationship with our own inner being. And we become the inner parent, we become the guide, we become the one that inner child always needed. So often when we are looking to the outside world for what we need for our safety, love, validation, and security, that's how we were wired, right? Since we were v- babies, we were helpless. So we needed, our caregivers to give us care. And they did that to the best of their abilities. Some got gold stars all the way, but you still develop the sense of I'm helpless, because we are, right? Human beings are the most helpless infants there are, because we have to do all this brain development and development before we are even able to be out in the world and even start walking, right? So we are so dependent on others. And then that sets the trajectory. We keep looking to the outside. Our nervous system says, my safety can't come from within. While babies will, do things to soothe themselves, they will not thrive if they're not picked up and loved and taken care of. They will die. We know that tragically, So, uh, to whatever degree the parents were able to, they took care of us, and we 100% picked our parents. And the first time you hear that, it can be like, no way, right? What? What? But when we really start to reflect on that and move along our journey, it really starts to make total sense. We came in to learn what lessons we needed to learn and what gifts we needed and the energies we needed imparted us for our soul's journey, and if I come back around again, I'm calling in some, parents that have like put in their time and work and are ready. I'm complete with a lot of those old lessons and cycles, I think. And this is a time where we're getting complete with a lot of cycles, this lifetime, many lifetimes, calling back the refractions. We are a masterful soul with so many experiences, and we've learned so much, and we are coalescing, bringing them all together. We don't need to keep reliving old stuff. And that's why it can feel really intense from the ego right now. is we are coming into this closing part of 2020 and we're going towards 2021. We are definitely changing up some tempo here. And if you are on the path of awakening, if you've been interested in working on connecting with, your fifth dimensional self or other higher, however you want to word that, higher aspect of self, which is really you, uh, that's why the ego feels so intense. That's why your fears are coming up. That's why, every dirty trick in the book might be getting pulled out in your thoughts to try to stop you. Interference energy is running high. If you are doubting yourself, that allows interference energy to come in. And if you are doubting yourself, it's a moment to say, okay, how do I trust myself more? A hand to heart and declaring, in this moment, I trust myself. I tell myself the truth is huge. It's absolutely a huge statement to tell ourselves. And if it's hard to really trust ourselves, there's where we put the work in. There's where we say, oh, that's that inner child that says, I need more love. I need more attention. The ego really needs us to love it as it does what it does, just like a child, and say, but, we're not going to go along with its way of trying to stay safe anymore. I mean, it's perfect if you want to, but I'm guessing if you're tuning in now, you're in the boat of, wanting to up a level from that. But it's intense. I'm not going to sit here and say I have not had an intense past week, month, heck, year, right? But also at the same time as we're going through the intensity, we can remind ourselves that right on the other side is the greatest light and love. Wow. It's going to be absolutely fantastic when we get to the other side of whatever the ego might be throwing our way. And it's going to be, specific to everyone, specific to you, how the ego tries to do that. It's really kind of funny once we make a big shift, but there's moments where you just have to remind yourself, if you're feeling all the intensity, to love yourself even more through that. How can I love myself? How do I tell myself the truth in this moment? What's the truth? Connect to your heart. The ego will lie to you, but the heart will tell you the truth when you connect with your true heart. And it really is, it takes a level of tenacity and commitment. We'll come up against a moment where we're just like, maybe I just throw in the towel. I've been trying to live my dream. I've been trying to break free. I've been trying, and it's too hard. It's too much. And there are beings left and right doing just that. They're falling back in a way, and they'll get exactly what they need on that journey, and bless them and bless yourself if you take that journey. And as Archangel Zadkiel would say, go do it, and do it well. Go back to sleep and just do density really well if that's where you want to go. There's no wrong. And but if you really say, what's in it for me if I give up everything right now? What do I get out of that? That's a really important question to ask yourself. What do you get out of giving up? Whether this is a dream you're going forward with, or, uh, you know, whatever, a goal that you have, a health goal, whatever. If it's coming from your heart and you know that it's of the heart, like something that's good for you and something you're moving towards, but the ego's throwing a fit, what's in it for me if I give up? And oftentimes that gives us a lot of clarity. And we usually circle back around to like, I'm not actually going to give up because, once we've come this far, we know we can't really go back, and we know we'll always keep trying to go forward. So, but investigating that is very valuable, and looking at both sides, like there's a payoff to hiding. There's a payoff to playing small. What is it? We get a measure of safety. That's usually a big component. It's scary to the ego. To the soul, the soul's like, yay, I always laugh because my soul had a big, it has a big idea of its mission, and it knows it, and incarnated into a being that was going to need to break down every single barrier in order to claim that, and go through every experience of unworthiness in order to claim worthiness. It's like, wow, fascinating journey. Loving and honoring those of us that chose this. In this, we're in the first wave. It's not easy to be a trailblazer, a pioneer of consciousness, so to speak. It's not the norm in the world of form right now, so it takes a lot of courage to say, I'm gonna go for it. I'm going to live my truth as much as possible. I'm going to learn as much as possible, connect as much as possible, and do things in the world that matter to me and that fill me with joy. And when we want to know what our soul's mission is, it's always so simple, so much more simpler than we think. If you bring your hand to your heart and you breathe and you just feel into, show me my mission. Show me a day where I am living in the harmony of my soul's mission, and you will get it. It's usually just one or two words you can distill it into, and you go with that. My mission is love. That's my mission. It's purely to expand love on this planet with the capital L, the energy of love for ourselves, for each other, for our planet. And when we can remind ourselves, like, that's my mission, it can recharge us and recenter us when the ego wants to spin out of control and when it wants to play its spin. Dude, it's strong. It's so strong. And you have to love it because it's trying so hard. It literally feels like it's going to die. Remember, your ego is just like, if we do this thing, we might die. It's to the ego, it's like a spiritual death, even if it's not physical, but it equates it all the same. In our brain, our neurology is constantly looking for threats to our safety and reminding us of past experience. And our neurology is wired in different ways. If we grew up traumatized, I mean, we're rewiring our brains, right? So, like, have mercy on yourself, because it's not like just easy. It can be very easy and it gets very easy, but there's moments where we're almost white knuckling it past a level, and there's moments where you are going to feel like you are shaking. Because if you are going for things that speak to your soul, maybe it's like writing that book or painting or giving a speech or being a teacher. It doesn't matter. Maybe, you want to be the best dentist on the planet, whatever your goal is. It's going to feel exciting to you, and you're going to feel the excitement and motivation, when the inspiration comes, and it'll almost be simultaneous, where the mind and the ego start to look for what could go wrong. Like, or if things are going really good, the other shoe is going to drop, or I'm looking behind my shoulder, what's going to happen? Oh no. And it will start looking immediately. So train yourself to take the pause when a good thing happens, when you have a celebration. You have many during the day. I'm celebrating taking a breath right now. I'm celebrating being here with you right now. I'm celebrating the hot water that I have. I've lived without hot water. Hot water is a gift, and we forget, right? How many things are we able to pause and celebrate? And when you have a major win for yourself, and a major win for you is for you, don't compare yourself to other people. That's toxic. Focus on you. And when you really have a win for you, it's like, take that moment to celebrate it, to really anchor it, because we have to retrain our brain a bit. It will, like, automatically, as soon as something good happens, it gets a dopamine surge and good feelings, but it starts looking for the next problem. It loves to problem solve. And for those of you that are really intellectual and smart, big thinkers, I get it. It's like, it's a madhouse. It's like being in one of those fun houses with the mirrors everywhere and you can't find your way out and you're looking at yourself everywhere you go. And it's kind of fun, but kind of scary. It's kind of like that. I don't know, that's the image that came up for me. Uh, you know, it's kind of like having a conversation with ourselves all the time. And you might feel crazy, and that's great because that's an ascension symptom if you feel crazy and like you're talking to yourself. Because really we have that dialogue of, hey, it's okay, we've got this. Let's take a moment to appreciate what's good, and whatever is coming, we can solve the problems. You know, through your life, if you reflect upon what you have gone through some major crap and found your way through it, you know. And something that might be happening now is not nearly as large scale, but yet the brain wants to go back to something really bad is happening. It's a very it's computer, it's mechanical, and it's kind of funny. So being the observer and witness of our thoughts is extremely valuable. And we have to enter, for any shift to happen, we have to have that awareness first. And if we want to shift and up level and anchor even higher in our multidimensional presence, you know, we really have to say, hey, you know, I'm going to be aware, because awareness, experience, choice. We have to be aware first. This is the framework of ascension. Awareness is the first thing that we need to make a change, right? If we don't even know something's going on, how can we even make a shift about it? And we have to have the experience of it and live the experience of it and understand it and feel what it feels like in our being, and then make a choice, you know? And that's, is it a new thought we choose to think? Is it an energy practice we choose to bring in? Is it listening to some music or going for a walk? You know, reaching out to a support person? It's amazing. And we keep going through that spiral and up leveling. And it really, really is a really empowering aspect of ourselves to be in that unification with the witness, the awareness. Uh, you know, and when we lift into the fifth dimension is pure compassion. And, you know, whether or not you've heard these terms before or you're just curious, you know you have touched it, you know, because if you're tuning into this show, you've definitely touched it or you're anchored there. And the fifth dimension is complete compassion and love. And to practice lifting there, you know, it's really taking a moment. Hand to heart will always start to lift us there, and awareness will always open the portal to that fifth dimension because it's the witness energy. So, watching ourselves with compassion and love, you know, not, if we're judging ourselves, we're really stuck in the third dimension, and the ego loves to judge. If you're being hard on yourself, should have, could have, didn't, regret, scared, don't know what to do, all of that, you know, it's like stuck in the third dimension. That's a moment where a breath and hand to heart are your best friends. Breath, water, hand to heart. I mean, these are like the essential components and foundation of taking care of our body, mind, and spirit, you know, and they're all connected. And, you know, do those things that bring you joy because they connect you to the remembrance of what it feels like to be in your flow and unification. You know, we have to just follow our greatest joy. It's so simple, right? So simple. And then that ego gets active. So it's intense. If you are feeling it, you're not crazy. No matter how long you've been on this journey, think about it. You're up leveling to a new level of mastery. And up level's a weird word. I mean, words are tough because they fall short of the energy. But when we are anchoring in a higher vibration, a more refined, lighter vibrational way of being, right? We're going to go through another level of, hey, what cannot lift and live here? Because in the fifth dimension, it becomes hard for the ego, but there's a little ego that can hang on there. And a lot of beings are, you know, managing to hang out in the fifth dimension, but carry quite a bit of ego. And the fifth dimension is eroding a bit too, and in part because of that. And then the seventh dimension is this beautiful energy of non judgment, much more crystalline energy, and the witness becomes even larger, becomes even more lifted. And you know, a lot of us are learning to really be anchored there, and judgment cannot live there, you know. So that's why your ego's coming up, you know. And then we have, you know, ninth, many more dimensions that we are working with and playing in and calling in. 33rd dimension crystalline light has been here since 8-8, the Lion's Gate. We started to receive into this beautiful chalice of our being, and if you don't know about that and want to learn more about it, wwaglobal.com. That is wwaglobal.com, because we are doing amazing things there. Divine feminine energy is coming. We have a summit coming up that's going to be super affordable to attend virtually. Details are coming soon and will be posted. And I will be live at Tosa Blue Mountain as a speaker and presenter there. So please check it out, and check out everything going on at the website, because I don't want to get on a total side tangent, but it's amazing. We are building this amazing dome of unity and presence for the ceremony and many ceremonies to come. And the Kenyari indigenous have been there, and we're really bridging with their wisdom and sacredness, and we are anchoring crystalline light on the earth there. It's like ground zero for this crystalline light. It's so exciting. And if you can contribute to the dome project, there's a GoFundMe going on and a lot of amazing stuff. So check it out. Thanks for letting me share that, but it's so important. It's huge. If you all want to call in this new world we're building, that's what we're doing. We're all doing it. So of course the ego is throwing a tantrum. We're up leveling, and it's saying, I'm freaking out. And there's a lot of energy invested in keeping you from doing it. Face it, it's like we are crystalline warriors. We're in that first wave, and we have to stand strong and be the model for others. And to me, it felt like, boy, there was a day last week where I felt like I was the sword, being forged and honed and hammered in the fires. And that's what kept coming to me. And I knew, I was going through some experiences that were intense. Things were happening. Life happens, things happen. It's not just all easy. We have to feel the things. You're going to feel grief and anger and different things when things happen in our world, and we have to reorganize our lives. We're all going through massive stuff right now. That look at everything happening in this world. So go easy on yourself. And I was just thinking, I'm like, oh my God, like take a break. I don't want to be honed like this anymore. But I really stepped into that, commanding the light and really breathing, and knowing that the moment was transitory, and that I really worked to release some of those ego holds there, and came through even more empowered than ever. So as we practice and surf this, it gets easier, because we know we have a bigger context. And when you can lift into that fifth dimension and say, okay, there's a bigger context happening here, it doesn't consume us the same way as when we're anchored in density. And when we originally crack open in density, it's usually so like precious. I don't want to use the word brutal, but it can be, but in the same time, it's amazing, as a coach and counselor and mentor. Sometimes, even people that aren't my clients, it's just, if you're an empathic, intuitive person, you probably get this experience where people just tell you things, and they don't even know why they're sharing it with you, right? That's a big sign you're an empath, intuitive. And they're just like, why did I share all that with you? Sometimes I don't even know why, right? Because they just sense that you are able to hold space. So, all my life, that kind of stuff happens. And it's pretty amazing to be able to be in that place where you can just really hold space for others that are going through that experience. And how difficult it is, to go through an opening. But at the same time, inside, I'll be like, yes, yay, because I know it's their breakthrough. I can see it, and when we look at people star to star, especially, and see them in their highest, they receive an infusion of that. That's like almost the best help we can give someone going through something, is to radiate our star consciousness to them. And if you want to learn more about that, shoot me an email. Check out my new moon ceremonies. Check out shriandkira.com and their work. Could talk about it forever. I think last week I did an activation, so you can go back and check the archives on my last show if you're curious. When we greet people that way and radiate to them, they're receiving a blessing. Sometimes you're just offering a glass of water. Sometimes we are just offering a loving presence, and we're not engaging them at the level of, spiraling into whatever they're going through, but holding empowered mastery presence. And that's another up level in our mastery when we can do that for people. And as we do, and I'm not going to ever tell someone like, yes, you're going through hell right now, but I'm so excited for you, but unless they're really ready to receive that. But it's like often you can just see it. They're like going through it because the best is yet to come on the other side. And we know it because we've had to traverse that. So as we anchor to higher and higher vibration, it doesn't mean sometimes we don't bungee down and feel our stuff and whatever, but we're anchored and we can lift that much faster and that much more quickly. So when you're being hard on yourself, remember this. Again, context. The brain and mind love to forget some of the context because they're so focused on the detail and the pain of a moment. But if you're going through pain and you've been doing a lot of work on your healing journey, just remind yourself, how would you have uh, moved through this moment if it was 5 years ago or a week ago? Sometimes like yesterday, right? We evolve every day now. Every day is so spacious right now. We're like living a lifetime each day. And so we can be really a different person by nightfall, it feels like sometimes, but look at that. How would an older version of you move through this moment? A bad quote unquote, there's no good or bad, but say you have a rough couple hours, and it can be bipolar feeling. I talked about this last week too. It can be very burnt up, down, what's happening, right? So when we're in those moments where it might feel really intense, maybe it's 2 hours, maybe it's a day, but you know what? At one time, that would have been a whole, year of your life, perhaps, or a whole week or 5 days, or it would have been so much more intense. And you wouldn't have had the context and the tools to lift when you choose and say, yes, I'm ready to lift, I'm ready for that support. So often we have to remind yourself of how far you've really come and how capable you are. Because when you look and review your life story, you went through stuff. And whatever's happening now is like a honing. It's like that, you are the sword, but you are being sharpened. And sometimes we have to walk through the fire of transmutation. And it's beautiful, but it's scary sounding to our ego. It resists it. It resists it, And then it does, though, soften. It's not always a battle with the ego when we love it. If we're pushing it away, it's like a child that you're trying to ignore. It's going to get louder, right? It's going to come back some other way or find its way in. So you really want to say, I love you. Thank you for showing up. Thanks for trying to keep me safe. We're not doing that today, but I appreciate you. I see you. I hear you. And if you take the time to journal or go to that part of the body, connect with your heart and that part of your body with the other hand, connect and feel it, you will absolutely start to be delighted when the ego is softens and it starts to say, oh, I trust you. You're the inner parent. You're the inner guide, and you know the way. I will go to you for my help now. I trust you, and you're showing up for me. You know, that's really huge when we can start doing that for ourselves. So I'm gonna hop over and see if we have anybody over at the call line. um, Not seeing anybody showing up today, but if you feel like calling in, whether to share, beautiful Thanksgiving message, if you have a question, a comment, just want to say hello. If you'd like a mini intuitive reading, the number is 517-208-1500. That is 517-208-1500. And I will hop back over there. And if you're catching this in the recording and you're like, oh, I'd love to call in noon every Tuesday, we are live here at Soul Fusion Cafe. And I see a lot of beautiful chat happening over at YouTube and Facebook and places. So that's amazing because it's so fun. Like the chat's great because the community comes together and you guys can also share over there, and it's just like a really beautiful time to touch in and be with one another. I think ascended community is so important and valuable right now at this time. Always, but really, more than ever, we are really needing that connection with one another and that remembrance to help us unglue from the hypnotic density world, because it's hypnotic. It's absolutely hypnotic. So as we're moving into this holiday season, and whatever you will be doing to celebrate, or whoever you have to connect with, or whatever comes forward, it's just that, like I was sharing earlier, it can be that ripe time where stuff just comes up. It can be old hurts or griefs or people acting out from that victim triangle. If you're familiar with that, I know if you're familiar with Sri and Kira, a lot of listeners over here are, because I'm over on Soul Mirrors once a month with Kira Ra. I'll be there next Tuesday night. Amazing. December 1st, first Tuesday of the month, 8 p.m. Eastern time is Soul Mirrors every Tuesday night. So definitely be tuning in tonight with Sri and Kira. But they've been sharing about this a lot, and it's always resonated with me ever since I did my self ascension intuitive counselor training way back when, and we really dived into this, and it's something I've shown clients and empowered so many people through. I don't have the drawing or illustration in front of me to share with you if you're watching, but whether you're familiar with this or not, it matters not. I can teach it to you quickly, and you can go ahead and check out some of my shows, check out Sri and Kira's work, and get it. To explore the mysteries with Sri and Kira is a great place to go. This last Monday's show was all about the victim triangle. I'm like, how perfect is that to be talking about this week? Because I always call family holidays, it's the victim triangle game. It's the perfect time where everyone's playing their role so perfectly. There's a victim, there's a teacher, there's a victim, there's abuser, and a rescuer. And when we ascend that triangle, we become the teacher, healer, mentor at that point. But we are all born into this victim triangle. There's 3 points. You only need one person to play, though, because you can play this in your head like crazy. We're experts at it. We're our own abuser, right? We beat ourselves up. And we're the victim of our own self. And then we go looking for a rescuer. Be your own rescuer, and empower yourself and become the empowered teacher, healer, mentor for yourself, you know. But that's what people do. They go and look for rescuers, right? And they look for abusers, and they look to be victimized. And everyone has their kind of maybe favorite role, but everyone switches around. And if you're around really toxic people that play this game really good, they will change the table so fast. That's a sign that you're dealing with somebody that is very, very wounded and so in density, and do not try to engage them at that level. You have to lift out of it and say, no, thank you, and be the loving witness for yourself, and know the truth of your being and what you deserve, and that you are worthy, and not be in that. Because all that can exist there is pain. And there are people that will try to manipulate you into playing one of those roles. And then while you're playing one role, they might quickly role reverse and play a different role, and you don't know what's going. You go from being the rescuer to being the victim to being the abuser, and around and around, and it makes you question reality. So then you are stuck in density consciousness. But it's like the family fun game, right? Everyone can think about your family of origin being around the table, and which aunt or uncle is gonna say what. It's practically a script, and someone's gonna be the victim, and someone's gonna be that instigator, and someone's got to be the rescuer. So it's like kind of funny to really think it's the old time fun family holiday game around the table. And it's a time that we can say, I'm lifting above that. I don't need to respond or react to any of that. Maybe I don't even need to put myself in those situations anymore, and give yourself that permission if that is what you need. You give yourself what you need. And if there's any guilt about that, then that's the opportunity to claim worthiness. I am worthy. I'm worthy. I deserve peaceful relationships are my birthright. Uh, you know, Oh, cool. We have some calls over here. I'm popping back over to check on in. So let's see. We're going to go. I hope this works. Fingers crossed. Over to Heartland, Vermont. Hello, Vermont. Okay, I hear you, but I hear your radio on in the background.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi there. I'm going to turn down the volume now. This is Kim from Vermont. Hi. Thank you for taking my call.
Hi, Kim. It's so exciting to be with you. Thank you for calling in.
Oh my God, you guys are so awesome being support line. I am like going through victim triangle and recognizing it as far as giving my power and time away. I feel like I'm so close to a breakthrough, and I'm just so glad I'm recognizing this now. I would just like a mini soul reading on this and say thank you so much for all your support and assistance with this. You guys are awesome.
Oh, thank you so much for calling. Oh my goodness, what a beautiful moment to be connecting. I'm so grateful that we have this moment and you are my first ever live caller. How exciting is that? Yay. So proud of you because wow, what a moment, right? What we're talking about that you are just ready to break free from. And as I connect with you and just really feel into you, like you have such an integrous heart. That's what comes out strong and loud, and that number 4 resonating strongly with you. And that's the heart of perfect balance and that equilateral triangle. So it's all about harmony. You know, if you're not in a harmony or balance from a heart centered place, you are going to feel rocked. You know, someone that has an integrous heart, you feel everything when you're out of integrity with yourself, and if another is out of integrity. And when we learn that, you know what, no matter what, if they're out of integrity, you know, that does not erode my sense of integrity within myself. And it's the opportunity to claim that I deserve healthy relationships. They are my birthright. They are, you know, that's my healthy boundaries, and I deserve this. And in these 4 weeks, that 4 just keeps resonating. In these 4 weeks, really be with yourself. I am safe. I am worthy. Healthy relationships are my birthright. And what nourishes me and my soul? Really be with that these 4 weeks. And you're going to be soaring. 2021, like you are, I mean, this is like that moment of honing. You are breaking free in massive ways. Stay the course. We've got you. We are here together. Thank you so, so much for calling in. I love you very much.
Thank you for all you do, Jess. You're so awesome. Have an
Oh,
awesome weekend and Thanksgiving. Thank you so much.
oh, thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.
Okay, awesome. And yay, and we have Belfast. Is that Maine? Hello, welcome to the show. Hi there.
Good day. Hi. It's actually, well, it could have been Maine. I spent the summer in Maine, but I'm currently in Arkansas.
Oh,
It's
hello.
Beatrice. Hi, Jess.
Oh, hi,
Happy
Beatrice.
Thanksgiving.
It's so wonderful that you're here. Happy Thanksgiving to you.
I'm so glad you got your phones on tap.
Me
Great
too.
point as always. I really wanted to thank you for the one session with the one talk radio. I've been going back and forth to that about the Ankh and the, and the star activation, and that's helped so much this week. There are no words.
Oh, I'm so honored. Good for you doing that work. It's important. It's huge. It's everything.
Thank you, and we really appreciate you all. And hopefully, I'll see you in Tosa at some point. And I was wondering if I could get a mini soul reading.
Absolutely, Beatrice. Thank you. It is my honor. So, I'm just gonna mute you for 1 second because we have a little bit of background.
Oh,
And yeah, as I connect with you, it's such an honor. I just feel a radiance, a bubbliness. It's like that feeling of champagne. That's what I'm even seeing and sensing as I connect with you is the champagne bottles popping, like the celebration energy is on. It's the time to celebrate. It's the time to say, wow, look at how far I've come. I've traversed not only this lifetime, but lifetimes. And I am calling back all the refractions. And I'm really seeing like this gold, everything is gold. It's like the gold bubbly, a gold cape, gold glitter. And as you can really embody like that, you know, I am celebrating the essence of spirit and form. I am a spirit and form, and I know, you know, I really do know what I'm doing. I really do. It's time to really own that. Own that which you are. And everything is unfolding in front of you. It's like turning the chapter in the magical book and just, fairies and sparkles and all the fun come out, and give yourself those opportunities to really celebrate. Like that's your quote unquote work, is to really celebrate yourself, honor yourself, and really say, I know I'm ready to take my seat at the master's table. And not only am I ready, I'm sitting at it. So I hope that that resonates with you, dear one.
Thank you so much. You were just so awesome. And that was like the best reading ever.
Aw.
It has been great to have. Thank you so much.
Oh, it is such my
Well,
honor.
I appreciate you, and you have a beautiful day and a beautiful holiday, my lady.
Thank you. You as well. I'm sending you a big hug.
Big hugs to you.
Thank you. I
Thanks.
feel that. Namaste.
Namaste.
Oh, so awesome. Thank you for calling in, folks. And I'm not sure, we might have time to squeeze someone else in. So if you want to call, that number is 517-208-1500. Again, happy to give you a mini reading or answer questions or just hear your sharings. It's a beautiful community of support and sharing and love here. So it is such an honor. This has been so remarkable connecting with you guys. And I'm so grateful that the technology and everything's cooperating, because it brings it to a new level when we can connect this way. And, just like the callers that called in, like, I just honor you guys. Thank you, because you're exemplifying the self-ascended presence and action. You are being the model. And to be that model and be the one that says, I'm going to go, not only am I going to go, but we're going to go first, right, is a brave, courageous act. And remembering, when we really anchor, it's like, oh, I am a master. We came to earth school in order to uh refine and gain more things for our journey, but it's like a graduation program. You have to have mastered a lot of other dimensional living and forms and things before you come here. You have a lot of wisdom when you come here. The challenges of being here, and the rewards, because nowhere else in all the universes and galaxies do we get this experience. I love Gaia. This artwork behind me is so inspiring. It's another Farron Peterson. I love bringing her art in, and I had a show with her a long time ago. Got to bring her back. She's so amazing. And this is the Northern Lights, inspired by the area where I live. And like, what other place do we get to see and experience the type of beauty that's here, and that we can look at each other and gaze at each other and touch and feel and taste. It's an amazing experience we said yes to. And we also knew that we would have to be able to be very masterful in order to walk through this journey experience, but not be of the world, walking through the world, but not being dragged into that density. And like callers have been sharing, and a lot of you, I see sharing in chat and things, everyone's been feeling their stuff. And it's so good to remember we're all walking through this moment, and no matter who it is in front of you. This has been so humbling for me to learn over the years. I have had the blessing of a lot of very powerful teachers, Shri and Kira, Gigi, Stephanie, others. And it's like I always was drawn or, aligned with teachers. And you think, wow, they have it all figured out, and they do. We all do to our extent, but we are all still human. We're all still going through it. So no matter how far you think you are on the journey, you are absolutely, still rocking the human aspects of ourselves. So we will always feel grief or sadness or anger, and things will come up. It's what you do in that moment, as a master. It's not the fact that you're still experiencing things, or an old pattern comes up and you think, oh, I thought I was done with this. Smile, because you're at a new level of mastery. If when we awakened, everything that we were going to lift through happened all at once, imagine what would happen to you. You would implode or explode. As we lift in consciousness, it's sort of like walking through a door into a beautiful room, and we look around and say, oh my goodness, look at all of this amazing beauty in this room. And we're so excited to be there. It's kind of like walking into the fifth dimension, is like that for us. And when we do, we're just so enthralled and we're there and we don't even notice there's other doors. As our perception adjusts and we become acquainted, we start saying, oh, there's more. I could open this door and there's even more and there's more and there's more beyond that. These doorways of perception, we can't go straight all the way through to room 10, if we're looking at like it's a big mansion or something. You have to go into that first room and get comfortable there before the perception adjusts and lifts and you start to see that there's more. And if you did it all at once, yeah, it would be too much. It's a kindness that it's layers. And as we lift, then a deeper layer might be exposed. But you are a master. Remind yourself, I know how to walk through this. I know the tools. And then we have communities like this. And those of you that hang out with Sri and Kira know this too. Or those of you that are working on your consciousness and healing, this. We know this, and connect with one another, connect with these shows, connect with each other, make those connections and communities and find them, because we're reminding each other. So when you have a moment where you forget, someone can say, I see you. Remember you're a powerful being. And that person can be you. Look in the mirror and tell yourself that, and remember, gaze into your eyes, laugh, dance, play, nourish yourself, give yourself the gift of you, right? And as we draw to a close, it's been an hour. This has been so fun. So, whenever you tuned in, if you didn't catch it, we're here every Tuesday at noon Eastern time. So, make a note of that if you want to come in live. And now we have the call board working, so you can call in. And then also, you can always email Jess at selfascensionstudios.com. And that's my website. And it's going to be going under some amazing construction, and more cool things are coming. I'm going to have a group soul forward passage, going to be for women and divine feminine connected beings that are interested in expanding into their goals, their business, their leadership. And that's coming in January. And if you are saying, oh my God, I think I'm interested, it's going to be a small group experience. And, send me an email so I know, and I get you on the list, Jess at selfascensionstudios.com, or go fill out the contact form and I'll hook you up. But that and many more things. There's always the new moon ceremonies and soul mirrors. There's so much to connect with. Hop on my newsletter, send me an email, and I'll put you on there too. I always send out updates. But this really is our time for me to bring the gift to you of this connection in this moment. And it has been such a pleasure to be with you all. I truly hope you have an amazing day, a blessed holiday. If you're celebrating Thanksgiving or whatever you are doing this week, have a beautiful week and know that all is truly well. All is well. You are loved. Namaste and many, many blessings.